We start with the next topic, that is cholinergic nervous system. This completed what was ANS and how the impulses are conducted, that is neurohumoral transmission, what is happening in the nerves, what is happening in the synapse, how the neurotransmitters are terminated, and the termination of action of neurotransmitters. Now getting to a more specific, that is the cholinergic nervous system. In physiology, it is parasympathetic always. In physiology, it is mentioned parasympathetic nervous system. I hope you understood why it is cholinergic nervous system in pharmacology. So, we first discuss cholinergic receptors. Why cholinergic receptors? Because acetylcholine is released in various places, or we can administer acetylcholine as a drug also. But the action of acetylcholine is produced by the receptors which are located in the various locations. So it's not actually the acetylcholine is actually producing the action. It is only a key which opens the receptor, and the receptor will be determining what action has to be produced. So the receptor may be producing an excitatory postsynaptic potential, or it may be producing an inhibitory postsynaptic potential. So accordingly the actions will vary. So let us see what are the cholinergic receptors. So there are mainly two type of cholinergic receptors. One, it is nicotinic receptor. It is designated as N. Why it is known as nicotinic receptors? Because this particular receptor is selectively activated by the nicotine. So it is known as nicotinic receptors. It is a ligand gated ion channel, and it is usually a sodium channel. The ligand is acetylcholine, and it is gated by acetylcholine, and once the receptor is activated, it allows the flow of sodium ions into the particular cell or the neuron. So what we call ligand gated sodium channel. And there are two subtypes, that is NN and NM. Can you note down the N followed by the second N, it is a subscript in capital letter, and the second N followed by M as a subscript which is also in capital letter. So that helps you to identify where these nicotinic receptors are located. Give a try to find out. Second type of cholinergic receptors are known as muscarinic receptors, M, capital letter M. Why they are known as muscarinic receptors? Because muscarine, which is obtained from the mushroom, can be selectively activate some receptors of cholinergic nervous system. So such receptors are designated as muscarinic receptors, and they are G protein coupled receptors, type 2 receptor. So they will, once they activate, they will designate a G protein, and the G protein will be making the action in the particular cell or neuron, whatever it is. And it is having 5 subtypes, M1 to M5. We'll see that in the next slide. So kindly note down, preferably in the back side of your notebook. So you can turn your note, if you already have a notebook for pharmacology, just open the back side of the book, and you can note down this in the back side of the book, because it is for you to study, not for the exam purpose. So once you understand this, it will be highly useful for the entire chapter. So it's given 3 columns. One is for the receptor, second where it is located, third it is what happens if the receptor is activated by the ligand. So the ligand for cholinergic receptors endogenously, if you see, it is always acetylcholine. The endogenous ligand is always acetylcholine. We can give some drugs exogenously which can mimic the actions of acetylcholine and can also act as a ligand. But for the time being, let us understand acetylcholine is the ligand for all the cholinergic receptors. So first receptor is NN. Those subscript N, it is designated because this receptor, nicotinic receptor, is located in the neurons. So if you remember back, 2 set of neurons, so where this receptor should be located? It is located in the postsynaptic or postganglionic neuron. So acetylcholine, once released from the preganglionic neuron, acetylcholine diffuses across the synapse and binds the NN receptor, which is located in the postganglionic neuron, and that will activate the postganglionic neuron, resulting in depolarization and firing of the postsynaptic neuron. Excitatory postsynaptic potential. I hope you remember depolarization. Nicotinic receptor is a sodium channel. So once it is activated, it allows the flow of sodium ions inside, resulting in changing of the potential from minus 70 millielectron volt in the neuron to plus 30 millielectron volt, what you call depolarization. So that will activate the postganglionic neuron and allow the conduction of impulses through the postganglionic neuron. Second is NM. So the M subscript will help you to identify it is located in the skeletal muscles, and the action produced is contraction. I hope you already learned in physiology the physiology of skeletal muscle contraction, sliding filament mechanism, and all those things. So this is NM receptor, which is located in the neuromuscular junctions. Coming to muscarinic receptors, M1, it is located in the GI plexus, in the GIT. And the purpose of M1 receptor, if it is activated, it will increase gastric acid secretion. This is how the cephalic phase or the nervous phase of gastric acid secretion happens in our body. Second is M2 receptor, it is located in the heart and mainly it produces depression. So if you see the heart, if the heart is left on its own will and wish without any nerve innervation, that is no neuronal connections, if you remove all the neuronal connections to the heart, the SA node is free to control the heartbeat of the heart now. So the heart can beat 200 times to 300 times per minute. But in normal physiology, the heart are innervated with the neurons, especially the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve secretes acetylcholine as the neurotransmitter, and it controls the SA node and regulates the heart rate to around 70 to 75 times per minute. So that actually depresses the SA node and prevents the generation of increased impulses and increase automaticity and decreases the heart rate and kept it normal to 70 to 75 times per minute. So how that happens? In the SA node, it is having a depressant effect. In pharmacology, we call it as negative chronotropic effect. That means it reduces the heart rate. In atria, it reduces the force of contraction of the atria. In pharmacology, we call it as negative inotropic effect. That means it reduces the force of contraction of atria. And the cholinergic nervous system is having more prominent effect on atria than ventricle. In AV node, it decreases the conduction velocity. So AV node is what conducts the impulses from the atria to ventricles. So there is in normal physiology, there is a normal delay, so that it ensures that complete emptying of the atria before the ventricle undergoes systole. So that conduction velocity will be again delayed by the cholinergic nervous system. We call it as in pharmacology negative dromotropic effect. And clinically, what is manifested is bradycardia. See the next receptor, that is M3 receptor, is widely located. First location in the smooth muscles. It helps in the contraction of the smooth muscles, and the important smooth muscles affected are one is GI smooth muscles. So the improved contraction of GI smooth muscles will tend to increase the tone and peristalsis. So increased motility of the GIT can lead to diarrhea because there is less time to absorb water. So that can lead to watery stool. Bronchial smooth muscles, respiratory system. It also produces bronchoconstriction that can lead to bronchospasm and difficulty in breathing, which is not prominent in the normal individuals, but it can be dangerous in patients with a history of asthma or chronic obstructive pulmonary disease or any other respiratory distress. Urinary system, again it increases tone and peristalsis in the ureter and also in the urinary bladder. As a result, there is increased frequency of urination and it promotes urination.